Welcome to TT, the Bear's Place. Here on another Monday night, home of the Stone Soup Poets in our now on our 26th year, just celebrating our 25th anniversary. I want to thank you all for being here. Anyone who's a new reader, in the first set, 8 to 9 o'clock, we ask you to confine yourself to a 4-minute presentation. It could be one poem, several poems, but try and keep it to 4 minutes because we have a lot of people signed in. And we go as late as we have to with the open. That means from 8 to 9 open readers, and then we have an expanded feature set tonight. We're very lucky to have some remarkable features with us this evening. That usually ends close to 10 o'clock. After a short break, anyone that's signed in on this list then gets invited up. If you're still here, you still read. And last week we were here till I think 11:30. We usually try and end by 11. But anyway, everyone gets their chance. But please, as readers in the open set especially, confine yourself to a 4-minute shot if you can. Good votes for doing the announcing tonight. By the way, I just want to say we're on Cambridge Cable every Thursday night, and we're very delighted with that, and Summerville Cable every Monday night. Angie's doing the filming, video photography tonight. Thank you, Angie. Susan Shirley, by the way, is handling the door right now, kind of remarkably, because she came all the way from Freiburg, Maine, an old Stone Soup poet, to come down here to hand the door for Stone Soup at TT the Bear's Place. Jerry Faison, by the way, had one of the best parties they ever attended for the solstice. Thank you very much, Jerry, and great performance by both you as instrumentalist and Angie on violin. And I think you might hear something like that later on this evening with Louise. We hope so. And finally, what do we always say? Anytime we're at TT the Bear's Place, it's of a very special hand for Miles and Bonnie Bullit. Doing the announcing for this first set tonight will be one of our favorite friends, Maria Jonai. And Maria's coming up right now to make our first announcement.
The Shoe Queen!
Hi, for our first, and now wait a minute, should I look at the camera? So when I usually read, I just look down. I have to look at the camera and look at me. Anyway, for our first reader is this dude who calls himself tonight the Spangio, is it Spangio?
Yeah, spongiological.
Spongiological Letif.
Tony on lead guitar.
Keep it mellow, please.
No way. That's beyond. This goes out to J.K. Potter's Herbalations book. The Entheomania Plasmagenic Apex. Belonging to me, a meretricious harlequinade, zoological, side-showing, cloak mistress of the dark carnival Mardi Gras, intermingles unknowably with the annual sightseers while toddling along the New Orleans flagging caves and the Louisiana detours. A particular Zion, marrow-boning, valor-desque, time figure, sundial nanoman of honor, erects in frigidity in foreground of the news of the Sun, abandoned motel cocktail lounge, and the defamatory weed-choked swimming pool with his balsamic right honey bone behind his Megatron scientific Belonging to us, the wicked blustering, God-fleshing pachydermis, psychological incubus of the post-mortem proliferating funerary grounds, breathes in, breathes out with overcast expiratory, his emergent trident distal pits, and his corrosible tentacular grappling irons. Erosional carnage ensuing immorally, Katrina succubus interposes her somatic, lewd mannering, standardizing, mnemonical visage, and her desire for food, paunch, abdominus, sink your teeth into that alligator gar. At the same time, her knowing no mercy grinders are on the brinks of scrunching anything around that's in keen sight for her. Turn the diseasing page. Singly and acerbic, hypoallergenic, psychotronically, alive and screaming, hereditary, man's profile on anthropomorphic hand, ghastly screeches, his going to pot, asphyxiation, assuaging lymph nodes, while his bacteriological arthritical index fingers hurdles those subtle andante spinet ivories. Duh, ah, duh, ah.
Took over your 4-minute limit, dude. Please remember all that it's 4-minute limit. And thank you, but I need to go to get my medical dictionary to really understand what you were saying.
Use Mrs. Burns.
Our next reader is Francis DiMenno, The Wrong Hero.
Some call me the cracker barrel philosopher of the bourgeoisie, and others call me the avatar of the moron zeitgeist. But I am the wrong hero. And I invented a Bible for children. It's called the Bib. And the Old Testament is one word: no. And the New Testament is also one word: because. But far more influential on our young and unformed minds than any scripture, I believe, is the one movie we've all seen probably, at least 5 times, possibly as many as 8, 10, 12, 15 times if we're especially retrogressive. Not It's a Wonderful Life, but that other seasonal favorite, The Wizard of Oz. Now this is a great thing to let an impressionable child read, separation from parents and wicked witches, ominous soldiers, and with the big furry hats, and it made a great impression on me, and I'm going to try to re-encapsulate that impression in 3 minutes or less. So here it is, my postmodern self-referential tour de force, The Wizard of Oz, in 3 minutes or less. Somewhere over the... Please don't let her take Toto away. There's a twister coming in. Poor kid. Hope she gets home okay. Boom. Ding dong, the witch is dead. We represent the lollipop kids.
You killed my sister! I'll get you, my Brady!
I'm afraid you've made a very bad enemy. She wants the ruby slippers and she'll stop at nothing to get them. I suggest you go to Oz and see the wizard, who was, of course, William Jennings Bryan in the 1896 Democratic National Convention, who gave his speech about the Cross of Gold, which here is represented by the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road, the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow. I get the idea. Okay, I'm off. So, if I only had a brain, a heart, a knife, go away. The wizard is very busy. But he was my only hope of getting back to Kansas. Only God knows why I want to go there. Black and white, Bob Dole, dust storms. I mean, I must be nutty. I should stay right here in Oz. Hey, this is the place for me, man. I'm really cooking. I mean, you know, I'm a real novelty here, and nobody knows what a dog is here. And, you know, Toto, you can eat all you want. Take a bite out of that lion over there. I am the great and powerful Oz. I'm Dorothy, the small and...
Silence! Don't come back until you bring me the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. But that means you want the killer. Silence!
Commercial. Oxidol is made just for you. Look, it's the witch, and she's writing something. Surrender, Dorothy. Hey, I thought you didn't have a brain. How do you know how to spell surrender? Well, let's just skip that, okay?
Puppies, puppies, sleep, sleep.
Did anybody ever hear of the Harrison narcotic act around here?
Go, my flying monkeys, and don't return until you bring me the girl.
Run, Toto, run! Annie, Dorothy, Dorothy, Annie,
Annie, I'll give you Annie, my Brady.
That's the part that really scared me.
Oleo, Zola.
Hurry, Tin Woodsman, the hourglass is almost up. What hourglass are you talking about? What am I around here, chopped liver? I got an axe, everybody assumes that all I'm good for is chopping down doors. All right, here we go. Here.
Oh, you fools! Don't let her get away! Half of you go this way, half of you go that way.
You display a surprising command of strategy for a witch.
That was my little fire, Scarecrow!
You killed her. I didn't mean to. Well, nevertheless,
Hooray for Dorothy! The Wicked Witch is dead.
Wizard, you're a bad man. No, I'm a good man. I'm just a bad wizard. Now the woodsman's got his heart, and the lion's got his courage, and the scarecrow's got his brains. He will rule in my stead. Obey him as you would me, which is actually none too well. Goodbye, everybody. Scarecrow, I think I'll miss you most of all. Meow. Woof, woof. Toto, come back. Oh, no, I'll never get back to Oz. Stop the balloon. I can't. The answer to getting home was within your grasp the whole time. Just tap the ruby slippers 3 times and say, there's no place like home.
You mean you put me through hell for nothing?
There's no place like home. Wow, what a crazy dream. You were there, and you were there, and Professor Marvel, even you were there. I guess there really is no place like home, which strangely enough started out as black and white, but is now in full technicolor. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you very much. I'm the rock hero.
Woo!
Next is Lawrence Carradini.
And your cleavage. You look gorgeous.
This first piece is unrequited. Blue. Blue-green lattice leaves of falling wrap surrounds the almost me. Blue-green lattice wraps around my third blue eye, the one that sees. These brown ones are soiled, buried beneath the wonder years of disillusionment. The blue is sky and stratos, she, clear light, green with ever green. A late May day. It is the day I dream of in winter, warm as toast, with butter dripping down my side, while you sleep, your hand resting on my thigh. The blues of life, just vibration, humming barely, its color buzzing vibrant in the sky. Birds twitter, titter, telling me that it is I who has kept his wings at side too long. Car tires sing, swooshing on pavement as they go by. Say, we're on our way now. Windows down, the sound of music, children dancing down the brick road to some yet to be discovered Oz. Oh, we go, on and on I pray that there will always be days to sail. I throw this canvas back from me sated in hope that there is still a boat carved with my initials.
Thank you very much. I needed to be mellowed down after those first two dudes. Next is Cheap Autumn Tree.
Mystic Bakery. We use holy water. Spirits in the dough, rising above the yeast. Bread baked by angels. Inside, all of us, packed away in our minds, excess baggage, a lifetime of luggage, the past in a suitcase. All are born to die, our destiny waiting, endless in time. Understand ashes to dust, all are reborn again. God, he's on the move, guaranteed overnight delivery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is David I.
This is my first Stone Soup reading, and I'm here to promote my first book, Invoking the Muse from 6 Feet Under, an illustrated tale of poetry, prose, and premature burial. I'm just going to read a few pieces from this. This one's called Blossom. Blossom on, blossoming beauty, continue to thicken your hide. The clenched hand you hold out is a sign of your infidelity to circumstance. Afraid of extinction or the bite of karma, perhaps? Carnivorous creatures reciprocate that which is life's blood, only until squirming for previously unsought longevity. You gulp glistening goblets of tomorrow, only to watch yourself spill upon the surface we now stand. Embrace me, the unfulfilled, and you know power, yet only for today, as tomorrow your thickening hide sheds and you begin the process once again. This is falling up. Rolling pastures of star-scarred sky pass by, weaving themselves into an obscurity which figures itself out before the final droplet of boiling wax can fall from my frozen eyelash, while like a sugar smack attack, Jack the Ripper stares down from opposing carpentry, making the decision when pitting appetites against one another.
Seemingly proficient shadows form over would-be barnacles, leaving the meadows above me free to touch down. Therapeutic silence evades me, engines too loud. So sensibly ejecting, I find myself wading in a sea of dust, left over from yesterday's dirty tabletop, occasionally making my way to the wick, in order to melt, such that they may straw-suck me into their semi-ring, no-conviction telephone failure reality. But alas, I yank the ripcord, abruptly parachuting the backward propulsion of gravity's grip to a halt. Summer evening serenade. The warm breeze hits me like a wall, or was it I who hit a wall, of indifference to that which is, admitting that which cannot be. But can't never could, said Little Red Riding. Hoods are restless in the humidity, with hammers cocked, ready to add to the heat like a supernova watched from a Nevada dugout, burning the viewers of an 11 o'clock newscast gone awry. How will the magnolias rise from the ashes of yet another aggravation to the host of her cultivated parasites? This will be the last one. It's called Tampax 179. I'll soon arrive by measuring latitude and fortitude until the mercury beak burps in the bubble on top of Auntie's refrigerator, served sugar cookies on a plate decorated with the trim of Thanksgiving dinners from yesteryear, when the syringe hits the bathroom floor before you, although I'm too tough to be tamed by insolence, so down you go, knocked into the dirty tile by something else you obviously cannot control. Just like the times you overstepped boundaries before. Thanks for quitting long before I ever had to fire you.
Yeah!
Thank you very much, David. I hope you come back to read for us.
Longtime friend of mine.
Next up is Broewynn Detlofsen.
Right.
There's a different pronunciation of that every night, so we'll go for this straight. It's Broewynn Detlofsen. That's all right. I do different every night as well. This verse is called Reach. You were reaching for my hand as I was reaching for a pint, looking elsewhere as you told me about your day. Laughed a bit at someone else's joke, spared a glance, absent-minded pat, are you okay? One, then two, then all the lads are down, circling in for the nightly piss-up. Chairs scrape in, you were reaching for my hand as I reached for the pack, lit up another cigarette, turned to hear one of the lads tell a story of the girl he shagged last night. Laughed, took a sip, a drag, hunkered in to hear the tales as you reached for my hand for the last time. And how was I to know? You said you were fine. Nightfall. As a child, I often wondered where the sun went when night came across the sky. I imagined it played hide-and-go-seek with the moon. But when I grew older and learned that the earth circled the sun and that night fell because we faced away, the dark shadows and silver moonlight lost their magic until I grew still older and learned the magic of the moment is within myself. Morning climb up Hanging Rock, which will have more meaning if you've ever seen Peter Weir's film Picnic at Hanging Rock. The kookaburra cackles like a manic monkey, flitting from tree to tree in the cool shade of a eucalypt. All around are clouds. You see the haze of rain from beneath a canopy of trees, scant shelter from the Aussie sun. Brave the climb up Hanging Rock to creep through narrow crevices, grown cool in forever shade. Around the bend, another climber, the voice carried away by wind. Echoes all around, cast of shadows on the maniacal features of weather-beaten stone. flap of wings, the kookaburra flies, its laughter sucked away in the dark crevices above hanging rock. Jet rumbles overhead. Reality jolts through. Check your watch. 3 hours have passed in the space of minutes. Alarmed, you scurry away from the rocks and chasms, make frantic passage to the way down. You circle, going ever forward. By chance, you see the trail. Quickly scramble down until at last you leave behind the shadowed faces as dusk falls on your morning climb up hanging rock.
Thank you, Broewynn. That was very nice. Next up is Susan Chandel.
Bear trap under the milk moon. On raw spring nights, in the flood times no arms can soothe. The womb of the granite bear trap is a hermitage, in which to measure and sedate the frenzied circles of time, circumstance, and wild imaginings. Through the stone opening, the full milk moon clarifies the steadfast rigidity of chaos. The still night magnifies the closeness of its whirring. In the bottom of its belly, the damp and decaying leaf nest holds promise. At one time, Ursus Major pointed the way to freedom, recalling the power that wells up in the oppressed. Courage is born out of fear and exhilaration. For a slender moment on the edge of dreams, all demons are dervishes, and all bears are dancing with intent. Postcard from Saskatchewan, June 4th, 1974, en route from Montreal to Vancouver. The prairies are distracted only by grain towers and utility poles. I take refuge in this visual mantra as it clacks hot and golden by the windows of the station wagon. The firestorms once again diverted from the bridges. I finished the obligatory Alive and Well note on a free advertising postcard. We went to a living pioneer museum today, where my eyes adjusted from the bright plain sun to the cool, dim roots of a sod home. The Secret of the Flux, to Sharon. Remember the carnelian ring I made and gave to you in trust? It had a plain silver band and a notch setting. The cabochon was small and round, high and pointed. There was a vanishing magic which fastened the stone. Sometimes I still catch a glimpse of it in changing times like these. I remember you the day 11 years ago. You, an iridescent emerald, I, an ivory brocade. You reminded me about the secret of the flux, what I already knew about the fears that drove me blind to its powers. I think of you 3 hours away with the ring you've held in trust for me these 20 years, glimmering in some flowered box on your bureau, and I am grateful to you. In a split second, fate whispers ever so faintly from the bubbling flux, and there it is, the implement of desire. Everything seems to fit, with a minor flaw or two, nothing on this planet being perfect. I have witnessed this from many angles, but mostly from the corner of my eye. I am once again free to celebrate the sublime. Call it a quickening, but I think that I am getting to the point where I can absorb it without even picking it up. Yet, I hope to recognize the sparkle in these cyclic fissures, days, weeks, even months in advance. Just knowing that they are there is a comfort. Observations of the natural distortions in the neutral zone. Tethered at double arm's length and beyond, we move semi-consciously through the detailed expanse of a decade and a half to arrive at this, the shifting spire of someone's dreams. Swathing through the subtopical growth, I discover the mall full of spinning plates. It is my turn to keep them from falling. In the distance, you, without a stave or even a parasol, pirouette atop a smooth obelisk made of pristine Mar-proof corian. My pockets explode with armistice banners, dry rose petals, and tattered sentiment. Handless, I watch them cascade through the periphery. Scrying a cure for this fixed reassurance in the remote, I sip coffee and re-examine the mangled templates. You glance out the window of the rented temple tenement, taking in the green, still dancing unwittingly on the point.
Okay, next is Nancy Mindick, also a very old friend of TT's and a dear supporter of my poetry.
I just wanted to say that I came straight from the garden, so if I look kind of dirty, please don't buy me a bar of soap next time. I knew you guys would understand. I wrote this poem several years ago when I found out that my uncle, who had just passed away, none of us knew this when we were growing up. It was discovered that he had a tattoo on his arm and had been in a concentration camp. He was actually an uncle through marriage. And so his name was Mordechai, but I used to call him Uncle Mook when I was a kid. So this is called Uncle Mook's Arm. I can say the name, Hitler. Was my uncle one of those who stood by the oven doors? Yes, he was. My sister told me so. My uncle had died a long, cruel death in childhood before finally coming to the States. I can say the name, Hitler. An old man my uncle was when I knew him, but in those days he was young, had carried bundles of clothing of the dead to be sorted, had lifted them close to his chest. I can say the name, Hitler. Night had been long for Mordechai in those days, a thin, gaunt boy struggling to survive, 14 years old when finally rescued. Hail Hitler! Hail Hitler! And the arms had waved like a sea of flags, like a stream of white tentacles, and the streets had filled, the name had filled the streets, and the people had swooned in awe. I can say the name, Hitler. How had my uncle arrived at the camp? Herded like an animal and then pushed onto the train? Was it daytime or night? And from where was he arriving? I am tired. I am tired of talking, as tired as was my uncle when he, an old man, old and gentle, sat in my father's office asking me questions about my life. Never, not once, did he mention those days to me. But who can blame him? The name had been too long on his tongue, and he preferred listening. Poor old man, filling his ears with the silly chatterings of a young girl.
Thank you, Nancy. That was beautiful. Next up is Andrew Hara or Hun?
This is my loving egg. Hatch it. Raise a new breed of poultry, fodder for the factory of juxtaposition. Tenderness is the key to extracting the chicken essence from each discovery behind enemy lines. Those from the wasteland are not so small as specks on a feather, but rather host their pecking parties in a different part of the barn. Let them get at you. Under your wing lies an aphrodisiac. Surrendering thus intoxicates them. Open spaces threaten your chicks, worse to be carcassed on some cliff than ignored by birds of prey. But first, incubate. Incubate with all your might, then burn the beaks of those you birth. I slayed your princess and set your serpent free. Resentful of rescue, your stone-stiff stares aim at me. I tell myself I'm immune to all poison. Our fluids drip in my mouth. Invite you in my throat. It's the only throat I have. Our fluids blend. I'm convinced yours is the cancer. But I know, when we climax, I bite off my own hand and feed it to my daughters. This one's called After You Left. The sun came out after you left, carrying the indecision of spring not quite with us. Defiant cold winds blew you in to the timeless library on the verge of extinction. Pumps generating drops, gargling over sheet stone and ceramic bowl. The store's own smoke, fragranting the negative spaces between me following you. After you left, I watched the sun come out briefly, wondering if you brought the sunshine to me, wondering if you were wondering, did I bring it to you?
I'm wondering, is Elizabeth Sapala here yet? Elizabeth? And now, standing in for S.A.S.P, it's David Allen Boucher.
And that's all right! Like a Messiah! He is! The alchemist!
I am not a messias. I am a messias? A messiah.
No!
I'm a man, just like you. Well, not
You're
exactly
a devil!
like you.
666!
I am your father.
Long before I wandered through my mind.
I'd wander through that, but I might get lost. Untitled and undated. All my single friends are married now, and planning families, living in their own homes while I dance on the outside in the garden. Alone in the night he cries, longing for another's sighs, soft and slow, rhythmic breathing close to him in his ear, a sleeping beauty he longs to hear. In a world full of princes, I am a frog. No curse upon me, and no amount of kisses will transform me into something I'm not. Pardon me, I'm just not used to doing this. My critic lets the punishment fit the crime. I stand accused of not writing quality. I cannot deny the facts. I do write junk. I plead guilty and face the punishment for my crimes. And so it has come to this, alone in a room, surrounded by blank notebooks, white pages glaring at me, daring me to defile them. They scream at me, standing wanton with pen in hand. The face framed in the door's window points its nose and laughs. This is my punishment for the crime of mediocrity. 30 days wearing tailored straitjacket. I am a hard man, but an even harder judge.
Okay, next up is Dan Luft.
Chandel! Daddy boy!
Just don't understand you, honey.
Who does?
But I like you.
You wanted to follow me.
Okay, I just wrote this today, so I guess that's an excuse of sorts. This is called Crescendo in Duke, as in Ellington, not as in John Wayne. In black and white, hunched over aging vital fingers, massaging keys into shape, sweat lodged in forehead creases, strands of gray hair on squinted eyes, past 50, past 60, throwing away all the used-to-bes and ever-weres, brass notes riddling through a dark wind wing, tossing leaves flooded with water round dust devil circles, swirling green, red, brown, brushes on a snare, copper on marble, ball bearings on hardwood, a canyon made of fog, swallowing Picasso and spitting out Brock, the fingers slipping under, the smell of rocket fuel, of Gallo port, the genius at sweat, piano playing French in a concert hall, playing for Mingus, forming us, wearing Shakespeare's eyes. The man before me was at Newport, saw the blonde in black dress, saw the woman standing as Gonsalves played chorus after chorus, 27 choruses, a floodlight of motion. It was the time, the record of the time, of shaking angels, of ice-white suns in quiet black shoes, cut from rain clouds that knit in mud puddles with their storms. Jazz cats play on little fog feet, dragging away phases of the moon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Actually, I'm going to read a poem, and I'll be the last reader in this, so you'll get a break. A few minutes. I'm going to Spain for 6 weeks. I'm going to be away. Won't see you guys till around the middle of August. So in honor of that, I am going to read something by a Spanish poet named Federico Garcia Lorca. I'll read the Spanish version first and then translate for you non-Spanish speaking people. It's called Tree, Tree. Árbole, árbole seco y verde. La niña del bello rostro está cogiendo aceituna. El viento galán de Torres la prende por la cintura. Pasaron 4 jinetes sobre jacas andaluzas, con trajes de azul y verde, con largas capas oscuras. Vente a Córdoba, muchacha. La niña no los escucha. Pasaron 3 torerillos, delgaditos de cintura con trajes color naranja y espadas de plata antigua. Vente a Sevilla, muchacha. La niña no los escucha. Cuando la tarde se puso morada con la luz difusa, pasó un joven que llevaba rosas y mirtos de luna. Vente a Granada, muchacha. La niña no le escucha. La niña del bello rostro sigue cogiendo aceituna, con el brazo gris del viento ceñido por la cintura. Árbole, árbole seco y verde. The English translation is tree, tree, dry and green. The girl of beautiful face goes gathering olives. The wind, that suitor of towers, grasps her around the waist. 4 riders have passed on Andalusian ponies, with suits of azure and green, with long dark cloaks. Come to Córdoba, lass. The girl pays no heed. 3 young bullfighters have passed. Their waists are slender, their suits orange-colored with swords of antique silver. Come to Seville, lass. The girl pays no heed. When the evening became purple with diffused light, a youth passed by bringing roses and myrtles of the moon. Come to Granada, lass. But the girl pays no heed. The girl still goes on gathering olives with the great arm of the wind encircling her waist. Tree, tree, dry and green. Thank you, and now I'd like to bring up Jack Powers to really finish the first set. That was a lot.
Jackie, Fritz and friends will be back next week to do a show that we had hoped to do for you tonight before the features. We have some great features, as I mentioned earlier. Maria, Jonah, thank you very much for the announcing and the poetry just then. I'll do like maybe a poem or two. I don't know if they're poems. Wasn't a Galois something even stronger? The fumes would reek from fingertips through 2 showers and headfirst dives into royal surf of Plum Island. We all smoked at Jacob Worth's. It seems so anyway. The Turkish and Egyptian stuff in colorful boxes purchased with pipe tobacco at Parentis. We all loved that shit, like seeing the repro of the Absinthe Drinkers by Manet or whoever. We loved it, you know, all the edges and borderlines. The real, yeah, you know, that somehow sense that anyone challenging society at large was challenging the thing, that monster of predictability that shaped most blue shirt, gray suit lives. So the cigarette cut into me, especially most powerful, painful, we lived to feel. Could be half a dozen of us in a museum on a given day, and unless some secret, totally unknown code was transferred, we passed in a blind. And what made of us in the cigarette fantasy more golden, evocative, that ritualistic frankincense? So, on this crazy morning across from the quiet parks of tourist pursuit and the several wow sequoias that Jerry had pointed out, told the shit wow forever, we soothed with it all. I mean, knowing that we knew and that there were others we didn't necessarily recognize, but it was all going like the Bach Chaconne somewhere. That every true creative act was precious and tied in some inexplainable, non-demonstrational way to every significant act ever performed on the planet. So knowing that this could sound like pure bullshit, I had a guard up for legitimate criticism. I mean, who made us the arbiters of creative expression, of the extraordinary reason for being? I remember Jerry arguing for an hour over what Bach should be played tight or loose bow. And all he ever specifically accomplished was the first 12 bars of the Mozart clarinet concerto without escape or lapse. It's what we all knew, that the perfect clean line from intent to execution was tough. And we really, when perfect, we anything other than that dream of getting there. So in the half breath of the true response to anything at all, you know, there is something that could affect past this totally predictable moment of delaying. Oh, we're standing in line standing. Laundry room lint smell. Nothing but pre-digestion, no maybes, even so smoking on the Turkish state monopoly oval. The 1,000-year-ago dream reemerges. I am left with a
fucking yearning for, well, that which never happened. I mean, we did dream it. It was it as an absolute, the rusted back of fire escapes of the South End. You could almost hear creatures scrambling the fences, some good, some bad, all wannabe survivors. You have to understand here that I was not the designer of the mode. Like some heretical sect, these ideas popped out of blank space. Contemporary reality, no judgment on this, but none of it meant shit. We were spun round beyond it, like the time I jumped on Johnny's bike to spill after too long a stay the dew drop in. And no one had bothered to tell us that after rejecting the presumed real, our real would be equally challenged as legitimate, provable, measurable experience. Rejecting predictable death of olden worms sluggish to total inertia and putrefied at the delivery room. So why did he desert her? Hey, but I don't know. Shit. So, we have to do it this way. We have to break free, do it different, better. Maybe not, but different. It had to be different, or we'd all end up like insects, repeating and repeating for a trillion years. All the same stack, rat, pack, fact. Different. Totally better.
But I met her when she was started.
Of course. Wait a minute, you want her to go first? Okay, she's open the other room. See, wait, I'll go get it. Hi, if everyone could take their seats, we're ready with our remarkable feature this evening. And we have three totally different presenters, all women as a matter of fact, coming from different aspects of what the poetic craft can conspire to create. And we have the great sorrow of the first reader leaving us, moving to another town. Someone who's featured with us in a variety of ways in the past. Let's have a hand for Jean Louise. Jean.
Some of this work I've titled 5'1" Forever, so I'll just start with those pieces. What do you do when you feel like you keep getting smaller and smaller? As if normally something like that would take a few months, years to build up, like a deep depression. Only took a few hours. When it happened to me, I started kicking people. I wanted to kick the doctors at work. I started kicking people in my sleep, as if a dog dreamed chasing rabbits. I came so close to feeling so small, my body started to listen. Started wearing little hair pieces again. I was dreaming very small, of short hair and short dresses. I had to start buying smaller sizes. I was falling out of my breakfast as this phenomena took place. My best friend turned into the inner space of my eyelids. Whenever that appeared, quickly I rushed. Never mind the covers. I'll lie down anywhere, standing up on the bus, a quick fix in the ladies' room. When you're so small at 25 and a 19-year-old comes into your world, very large, keeping you up at night, this impalement on your identity, where does self-worth come in? I screamed from atop the coffee table. Until a week ago, I thought I was 5 feet tall. I stood against the wall, made a mark, and came out tall, 5'1". I got up on the coffee table again. I yelled 5'1" forever, but no one saw me. My lips didn't move, but my brain was out in front. She's in the lead, must be chasing rabbits again, like a 19-year-old coming calling in front of me. Thanks. Okay. For months, I've been thinking up children's names for kids I don't want to have. Been leaving the sex appeal with other things I've left behind. Walking in and out of work as a professional, until recently dreaming I had the old stuff back again. I don't do working on a clock. For years I've been denouncing them, denying myself of being led by their hands, finally overcoming what I thought to be little girl syndrome. And a year later, when the ticking is so loud, I find myself seeking out yet another father figure to fill the void. I'm trying heels now and searching for diamonds. And it counteracts the adolescent rays I feel are burning everyone who meets my eye. Sorry, you just don't look cool with that assistive device, trying to seem the everyday good time old-fashioned woman of today. They say you are what you air. I'm starting fires in places that grow cold, but no one sees them. I'm sending signals, but I can't get high enough to let them go. I'm luring sheep back into the yard so I can call them lambs again, lying down with wool. I check the mark on the wall again, 5'1" forever. I bought my friend a birdhouse to put her thoughts inside. Good deeds are rewarded. Now I'm waiting for a reply. Some kind of offer to send away for, instructions of some kind, on how to feel, importantly, how to get taller. I've been living under the ground without sound for a while. What a lovely speaking voice you have, the better to steer you with. How did I go wrong? Did you ever notice if you look at pictures of sheep, it always seems as though they're smiling, and blindly. Many eyes are closed or their heads are turned. Show them the back of your head. You can be remembered for what nice hair you have. But I missed out. I'm sleeping too much and thinking too much. If only I'd kept all the lists I've made, maybe it would fall into place. But I've discarded the hundreds of daily reminders of what to do, how to feel, what to eat, what I ate, who to see, who I miss. If I'd only kept them all. Isn't it the accumulation of things that institutes growing bigger? Perhaps it's how I got so small, discarding them all. As I made my bed under the coffee table, I felt very much at home and not much at leaving. Finding all possible ways to stay under for as long as I could, got a change of space. Like that transcending feeling of falling when your head is on the pillow but feels like it keeps going. I always liked the water. We had some quiz when we were younger about liking water equaling being very sexual. How you feel in water equals how you feel about sex. I really love the water. I can talk up a storm of waves, really young. Then there was describe how you'd feel if you were locked in a white room with no windows and all white walls and a white chair. That would equal how you felt about death. No wonder my answer was claustrophobic panic, clawing at the door. Really young, I had all the answers to these questions, but I always thought I'd get taller. I don't know what's in these lights, it's so hot. Thanks. I'm working on my second novel. The first one was called When I Go Under, and the second one is kind of a follow-up to that, and it's called Phantom Pain. And just read a little excerpt from that. This is what happens. I sit down to write, and with all the time I used to use to my advantage, I find is now wasted because I simply cannot write. And I feel like the slimy top layer of water in a vase of flowers. You know, it's only part of the water, and you know water is the first need of the flowers. So you don't think disgusting until the vase is placed between you and the sun. Behold, light rays glinting through, and how awful that water looks. It has something to do with you. It's between me and the sun and the days it holds, always. And I wasn't surprised when my days were turned into days, because really the whole life thing is drug-induced. What he thought was one step forward was clearly and couldn't ever be anything but one back for me. I got so horribly obsessed with deciphering my life that when my mother went to show me all this new growth in her hanging plant, I had to admit I had accidentally pulled it out. I do believe that it is my fault for the kind of blindness that overcomes me when I pick the plants. I usually have to do it in the dark, or at least behind their backs. I once had a candle too close to the leaves for shadows effect more than light, and I singed what I thought was the most important thing to me. The top of almost every list says to water the plants, such as I remember almost everything everyone ever said to me. I'm gonna just stop it there. I met a number of people who wanted to take their clothes off one night, and it was only the heat that provoked it, or so they said. I wondered what it was specifically this search called for. Maps and spoons and things, quarters that fall out of your purse when speaking to other girls. If you asked me to save you, it'd be all I could do to walk away after noticing the self-created pool of denial that spread out from my smile was seeping into you. She was a mean girl by nature. At one point or another in her life, it was uttered at least once that she lived as if in a soap opera, caught up in the melodramatic creation of her own. She went to work, she went to her shrink, went along without words, and when screaming took place inside her head, she thought no one could hear. It's obvious, they say. I knew your room would be a mess. You're a mess. There's more to it than getting ready. I took a tranquilizer every night. The same thing proved true. It's something you need and something to do. She played for herself, the upset girl, and was a pill by nature. It took days on days to accumulate, one concluding night between thoughts. Do you know what time the night ends anymore? For someone, but I can't find them. I always look at them when I feel like I'm reading like shit. Brad, where are you? Okay. Let's see. I found a cab and walked to the corner. I have 7 minutes to take all the words off the fridge and put them into sentences. Meaningless rhythm, he said. In the waiting room, I pledged to relax. Diamonds dance across the table in the long version of my living room. All I can do is drink. It's the only character that keeps me in place. The smoothest of whiskey, what used to intoxicate your voice is lost when I bite my tongue. I'll tell you tomorrow and laugh in my sleep. When I came up from the nap after resisting the test, I tried to stay under until I figured out who I wanted to be. But women with nails and legs with tans kept telling me to breathe. Their long hair and pampered skin assured me of the dream. I lost my nerve and focused on weights and measure, thus quickly flashing the words pig, horse, cow, and I knew this was nothing to emulate. Your life's worth on the number of cattle you owned? I could see it if it were a murder of crows you bartered with. That's what gives the dark its gray. There's only so many ways to talk about dark or deny yourself of sleep. Taking hours from the night, treat yourself to a lot of space before creating a void to fill in the blanks. This is supposed to be a song, but it hasn't turned out that way, and I don't sing yet, so I'll just read it. This is not the conversation I want to be having. You've been like a father to me, although I'm not as happy as I'd like to be. I think of going, I think of staying, and I cannot say which way is best, except I keep coming to cannot stay, just cannot stay. You pick a place as good as any, and it's the only way to decide leaving. Blood, sugar, stones, apples mix, it takes it all away. My liver is shaking, my hands have failed. I repeatedly tell, I am fine, all is well. My heart will beat without thinking. It's been 1 year, maybe 3, in stealing a clear thought away from time, insisting on the breathing. She said, I'm tired of waiting, of letting out and letting in. She said, I'm tired of tasting. Is this enough for you? I don't know what's enough for you. Blood, sugar, stones, apples mix, it takes it all away. My liver is shaking, my hands have failed. I repeatedly tell I am fine, all is well. I feel ugly, I want to swim. It's hard to speak, my nails look wet. I wait for calls that do not come, I want to be involved. There's no way, there's no how. Something now is breaking my heart. Should I be gone? I try to write, I try to talk. Go back to pretending I'm not who I wanted to be, or say I really am. I encase my own small world. And this blue candy, a color I know, reply to me the clearest speech, the look back look. I can really say your name, or really hear a song. Question me to really die, no need to ask, I'm a subtle girl. Turn blood sugar level, no color on my lips. Blue sugar stones mix, it takes it all away. One last thing that I'll read, and I wanted to thank Jack for always squeezing me in when I happened to show up, and thank you to Meg, Brady, and Sylvia Bullit, the 2 features that I squeezed in front of. So, let's see. The next time I deal my life out, I'm choosing places and what parts to keep. Definitely my nails, gotta have those to give me that feel good I'm a girl crap. When all you feel are bony prominences and wish there was a candlelight weight to lift you, thinking bubbles are for blowing and at hour-long intervals. I made it part of my routine, airtight suds of life revealed through the O of an exclamation. Oh, I exclaimed, I have an effervescence to me after all. Picking up my voice, I'd forgotten where I hid it last. I can sing in my sleep, the songs come out clear. I wrote another language, hearing well and aware of too much time. I'm finding things I do not own come creeping across my pillow, going down and waking up, causing too much time. I laid to rest a bird in its cage and left a mess my stitches. I appeared to stay, calmly stolen my boots in the bed, night before night, windowsill awaiting, I make you my line. Across the time, day, surreal day, the clouds of trees, a silhouetted wall. I came, they passed, I let it go behind. No sitting, no smoking, my window is out of reach. A corner-side bedroom watch goes ungained, and the way I proportion my life now seems more like steady gaze. Untended, smoking, spitting, tortured soul where I chose brooding over beauty many days. That's it, thanks.
Talk goodbye to Jean Louise Paguin, a very significant person, and a remarkable evening that we have, lucky enough to invite up someone who's given a great deal to this film in the short time we've known. Let's have a great hand for Meg Brady.
Thanks, Jack. And thanks, Jean Louise. Jean Louise was here when I first started, and I always enjoyed hearing her read. I'm going to be brief tonight to serve as kind of an introduction to the performer who will follow me, Sylvia Bullit, who happens to be my cousin, and who in a way introduced me to this place. That is to say, her poetry and her music and her reverence for life surrounded me at a very early age, and I do believe that I have her to thank for coming here to find my voice, my art. Fittingly, the poems I'm going to read tonight are home-oriented and outdoor-oriented. Sylvia and I went swimming in Green Lake and that sort of thing. The first poem is called Expatriate. The land is swallowing what we give it. Beneath that grass lies the strawberry patch grandfather started, which once threatened to overtake the lawn in runnered clumps like spiders multiplying. There, where the beets and tomatoes newly sprout, from that eye of earth that eases shut under a merciless brow of field, there sprawled a garden with enough corn to get lost in. The land is moving everything we put down. The flower beds, for example, they migrate easily as clouds, boxes drop to float downriver into sea. Even our wooded stream, where I first named it crayfish, this changes course. And the swamp that iced for perilous skating sinks back into the ground. Everywhere subtle valleys, small mounds appear, as if to forget me. This is called Double Negative. It's for home. You know how if you return home as an adult sometimes it's too much of a good thing. Here there are fires in summer, ash cans aflame with suspicious trash, the kind of twofold heat that leaves me helpless midday among hushed voices, attempting to continue where my jaw goes slack. Here there is early evening in the draped enclosure of a living room, gauzy cocoon, this twofold dimness that sends me upstairs early to the space between white sheets, sleep. This summer, driving home without you, I stepped from the car into a frantic rattle, invisible hum, board of wood surrounding, song of bugs driven to shed pale husks at the feet of trees and fly upward, brilliant black, amber, red, into branches, upward like leaves toward sun to sing and mate all the days of 1 month of one summer out of 17 to come. 17 for learning the purpose of stones from among the roots of trees. And I consider now, having returned to the city where you are, where you sing to me within, where you sing to me hidden from within one of a row of clustered houses, where you play me into harmonies, in this room, a honeycomb cell. I consider the lingerers, the certain few, the one that come morning still sings toward answer. Thanks. My eyesight's failing. I work in an office all day. Computers, horrible for you. This is called Path. But hours after the rainstorm, cradle of my sleep, I come early morning upon an old woman on the edge of a highway, flanked on its other side by a sprawling park, where this time of year lush green enclosures aflutter with the small and unseen can still be for the first time found. I encounter early morning an old woman I've not exactly seen before, who again sweeps from the low end of her drive water with a straw broom, sends it out stroke after stroke up a slight incline to where the cars glide past now and then. Thank you. Let's see, the last is called Kissing the Earth for Clues. Early morning, I see the geese. as if first emerging from water. They find their way upward on the sloping land, from sand to plain of grass to hill, shaped like a structure poised on invisible beams, divinely informed as sleepwalkers that slowly and with certainty head somewhere. Thank you. And now, my dearly beloved, and soon to be yours, Sylvia Bullit.
Meg, you're so gracious, you're so sweet, you're so beautiful, and you're so polite. And Meg, I used to braid Meg's hair when she was this, well, yeah, about that high. And for years I referred to Annie and Meg, sitting next to her as her sister, and we lived together at my grandma's house. I referred to Annie and Meg as my little cousins. Would you stand up, girls, please? Oh, God. These are my little cousins. And one day I realized, wait a minute, Meg's 6'2". I can't call her my little cousin anymore. Here's a song for travelers. Fill in the space we left empty.
We couldn't tell which way the arrows turned, but now we can feel how to lean when the road bends. Lean when the road bends. Lean when the road bends. When the road bends. The road I'm glad I'm here tonight. Thanks for setting this up for me, Meg. Really, it's nice. This is called Phoenix Song, which is, hey, you're poets. You're supposed to understand these metaphors, so I'm not going to explain it.
wait and let it all end. Little more Wizard of Oz stuff in there. Did you recognize that little thing at the end? I did. The gardener, sacred gardener. Okay, I am going to sing a song about dirt, but before I do that, I'm going to sing a song about a diner. Do we have any Tom Waits fans here? Maybe? Maybe, yeah? Okay. This is sort of written in the style of Tom Waits. It's about a diner in Covington, Kentucky called the Anchor Bar and Grill. Give me a mom and pop coffee shop. Give me the Anchor Bar and Grill. If you ain't never been there, tell you about it, I will. Ain't no telling from the outside what's inside, but a surly crew just bust out the door. And I would not recommend the hash browns, but I recommend going there at 4 in the morning when you're feeling fine and you ain't in a rush to wine and dine. Tucked away in the corner, there's a pinball machine where you can still get 5 balls for a quarter. And the coffee is still 35 cents, even if it is mostly water. And don't expect to get what you ordered, 'cause the cook is drunk and the waitresses are elderly. Yeah, the food stinks and the service is slow, but at 4 in the morning, that's where I go. 'Cause the place is full of girls who just got off of work. They've been working Johnny's topless since 1942. Tell me, what is a great grandmother to do when you got mouths to feed? You hoist up the old John B. 'Country, definitely. Here's a song that came to me while I was weeding, pulling weeds in the garden. Yeah, and it's good for your piano playing. It makes your left hand strong, pulling out all those weeds. It's called The Present. Don't fight the present, it's now, and it's how the
Okay, I know some of you people out there have like some alternative lifestyles, which you don't have to tell me about, but I know you're living them. And so this song is called Other Way, so I'll dedicate it to you alternative kind of people.
Have been working
you a song that I'm in the museum now. So until the polar ice caps melt, I'm immortal. So you're looking at an immortal person right here. I'm in the Radio and Television Museum in New York City, and the song that I'm going to play for you is in the archives there. It's called Here. So like if in 5,000 years or something you're like a Swami visiting from another land and you just happen to watch this and you think, God, that girl looks familiar. It's because you were here.
Outside of time and the space, let us Here is the reason the stones moving under my feet. I felt the wind on my back. Looked up in the sky and I fell to my knees beside the railroad track. Beside the railroad track, blue to gray, gray to blue. It's like the sun coming out in the field. Do one more song. This is called Not a Body, and it's from A Course in Miracles, which I do read, have to admit it.
camera? Probably not. It was like my show and tell piece. Can we get a close-up of it? Okay, it says, this is something that a little girl, Sequoia, gave me. She told me I could put my own thing in here. And I found this card. It says, Sylvia Bullit, Marie Spina of the Neptune Diner in Newburgh, New York, has Sylvia's music books in the Lost and Found. So, I wanted to put this down on the videotape. Thank you very much.
Sylvia Bullit, Meg Brady, and Jean Louise Paguin. What a triple head. Thank you. Wonderful job by all three of you. Thank you very much. We'll be back after a 5-minute break. Another hand for our features, Sylvia, Meg, and Jean Louise. Welcome to TT the Bears Place, home on Monday nights for Stone Supporters. And hello out there to the folks in Cambridge and Somerville.
This was part one of the Stone Soup Poets Live at TT the Bears. Tonight's readers were Letif, Francis DiMenno, also known as The Wrong Hero, Lawrence Carradini, Chief Autumn Tree, David I, Broewynn, Detlofsen, Susan Chandel, Nancy Mindick, Andrew Hara, S.A.S.P, Dan Luft, Maria Cagney, Jack Powers, and I believe Meg Brady. And momentarily, we will be signing off for this evening, but next week we'll be back with part 2 of this reading at Stone Soup. This is Noise Party, recorded live at TT the Bears in Central Square, Cambridge. You have been tuned to Stone Soup Poets at TT the Bears. With your host, Jack Powers. My name is Francis DiMenno, and I'm the producer of this particular broadcast. And next week we'll be back with more of the same.
Thank you.